Lando Norris just got hit with a penalty bombshell. The FIA has confirmed he broke the rules in Abu Dhabi qualifying. The investigation uncovered clear evidence of illegal outlap behavior, and now his entire grid position is in jeopardy. But here's the twist: Oscar Piastri, his teammate, could now leap forward and start right behind Verstappen. Subscribe right now, because this scandal is unraveling fast and it's turning Abu Dhabi into the most chaotic season finale we've seen in years. The final race weekend of the Formula One season took a dramatic turn as the FIA officially confirmed that Lando Norris breached key sporting regulations during Saturday's qualifying session in Abu Dhabi. What was shaping up to be one of the most promising weekends for McLaren quickly descended into chaos after FIA officials revealed that Norris' Q3 outlap was not just questionable, it was in clear violation of Article 27.4. The news broke late Saturday night, sending shockwaves through the paddock and reshaping McLaren's strategic outlook just hours before lights out. The investigation had been simmering since the conclusion of Q3, where Verstappen and multiple other teams raised concerns about Norris' slow prep lap behavior. But now, it's official. The FIA's analysis showed that Norris intentionally manipulated his outlap pace across three specific corners: turns 6, 7, and 11, to control track position and disturb following cars. The report noted deliberate deceleration below performance thresholds, confirming what Red Bull had suspected: Norris compromised the competitive environment during the most crucial part of qualifying. More damaging than the data itself was the timing and coordination revealed in McLaren's internal communications. FIA stewards reviewed a coded message sent to Norris moments before the incident, instructing him to hold Delta and maintain Plan Echo. While not illegal on its own, when combined with the telemetry and GPS overlays, the context became damning. The FIA concluded that these instructions were designed to influence the order of the final Q3 laps, benefiting one car while affecting others. In their words, it constituted an artificial manipulation of competitive balance. The penalty was swift and decisive. Norris will receive a 3-place grid drop for Sunday's Grand Prix, along with a formal reprimand for unsporting behavior. That drops him down the order and removes him from the clean side of the grid, a critical disadvantage at a circuit where track position defines the opening lap. For McLaren, it's a major blow to their hopes of closing the season with a double podium. But for Oscar Piastri, the situation suddenly presents a golden opportunity. Piastri, who had already delivered an impressive lap in Q3, now inherits Norris' position on the grid, launching him directly into a strategic battle with Max Verstappen. It's a remarkable twist for the Australian rookie, who has quietly built a reputation for calm execution under pressure. This penalty moves him into the spotlight and gives McLaren the chance to control the front end of the race, something they weren't expecting just 24 hours ago. For Piastri, this might be the most favorable track position he's had all season. Inside the team, reactions were mixed. Engineers and strategists were seen in long closed-door meetings late into the evening. McLaren has not appealed the decision, suggesting that the evidence was irrefutable. However, the ripple effects go beyond just starting positions. Team morale, interdriver dynamics, and public perception have all taken a hit. Norris, once the driver expected to lead McLaren to the podium, now finds himself having to claw back positions in a grid reshaped by his own miscalculation. And so, in one dramatic ruling, the narrative of McLaren's Abu Dhabi weekend has flipped. What began as a potential triumph for Norris ends with penalties and fallout. Meanwhile, Oscar Piastri, who stayed within the rules and delivered a clean, sharp performance, now stands on the brink of one of the most important races of his young career. As the sun sets over Yas Marina, it's no longer clear who the team is backing, and that uncertainty could change everything once the 5 red lights go out. From a technical standpoint, the FIA's case against Lando Norris hinged on one decisive stretch of track: his Q3 outlap from turn 5 to turn 11. Normally, this section of Yas Marina is used to bring tires into their optimal working range with steady acceleration and short bursts of braking. Instead, Norris coasted at reduced throttle across multiple segments, creating what the stewards called an unjustified delta deviation. When overlaid with his Q2 outlap data, the time loss was nearly 4 seconds, far outside what's considered normal in preparation laps. That slowdown had consequences for the cars behind, most notably Max Verstappen. Red Bull's post-session debrief revealed that Verstappen was directly impacted by the drop in air pressure and tire temperature, as he was caught in the McLaren wake through the same segment. Verstappen's engineers noted that the Dutch driver's front left tire dropped almost 5 degrees Celsius below optimal temperature just before his final timed lap. That loss in grip translated to understeer through turns 12 and 13, costing Verstappen nearly 2/10 and potentially a shot at pole position. With Norris now penalized, that lost opportunity could come back around indirectly. Verstappen still starts ahead, but now he has Oscar Piastri alongside him instead of Norris. That change matters for Red Bull's strategy. Piastri is known for clean launches and steady tire management, unlike Norris who often gambles with aggressive opening laps. That subtle difference might reduce first-lap chaos and allow Verstappen to control the pace early if he gets a clean getaway. But the true beneficiary of this situation is Oscar Piastri. He delivered a composed Q3 lap without traffic, without team coordination, and without controversy. His sector times were consistent, and his corner exits ranked among the top 3 across all cars in the final session. With the penalty applied to Norris, Piastri now finds himself starting from the front row for the first time in months, an extraordinary shift in fortune at a race where grid positioning often dictates final results. What makes Piastri's rise even more interesting is how it redefines McLaren's race day plans. Before the penalty, the team's primary focus was on Norris' strategy, with Piastri likely covering off midfield threats. Now, the roles are reversed. Piastri will likely get undercut protection, pit stop priority, and perhaps even team orders in the opening phase. That's a massive vote of confidence from the pit wall, and it gives the Australian a real shot at converting qualifying pace into a podium finish or more. And there's more at stake than just bragging rights. McLaren is still locked in a Constructors' Championship battle where every point counts. If Piastri can hold his front row position and finish ahead of Ferrari or Mercedes rivals, the team could leapfrog into a more favorable payout position for next year's budget cap allocations. That adds another layer of urgency and opportunity for Piastri, who is now carrying McLaren's best shot at salvaging the weekend. Ultimately, while Norris faces the setback of a grid drop, Piastri steps into a scenario that few rookies get to experience. A front row start, no team drama surrounding his own lap, and a wide-open first stint to show what he can do without team-imposed limitations. For McLaren, this weekend has taken an unexpected turn, but in the process, it may have revealed which of their drivers is truly ready to lead the team into 2026 and beyond. The FIA's conclusion that Lando Norris breached regulations in Q3 was not based on a single piece of evidence, but on a complex layering of technical data. Using telemetry, GPS tracking, throttle mapping, and radio transcripts, the stewards were able to reconstruct Norris' entire outlap with precision. This technology isn't new, it's been in place for years, but the thoroughness of the analysis this time was notable. Every corner entry speed, throttle lift, and delta time was examined frame by frame. The result, Norris was found to have slowed deliberately without cause, and in a way that impacted the cars behind. The cornerstone of the FIA's argument came from a detailed comparison between Norris' Q3 and Q2 outlaps. In identical track conditions, his speed profile through turns 6, 7, and 11 was markedly slower by margins that exceeded the allowed tolerance for tire management or traffic considerations. What raised further suspicion was that this drop in speed aligned perfectly with Max Verstappen's positioning on track. In the steward's report, they referred to this as coordinated pace manipulation, a term rarely used but highly significant when discussing intent in motorsport. From a regulatory perspective, the violation falls under Article 27.4 of the FIA Sporting Regulations, which states that, at no time may a car be driven unnecessarily slowly or in a manner deemed potentially dangerous or capable of hindering other drivers. While that rule is often associated with blatant blocking during wheel-to-wheel combat, it also applies to qualifying behavior. The intent of the regulation is to preserve the integrity of a driver's ability to complete their fast lap without artificial disruption, something Verstappen was clearly denied. The FIA also pointed to Article 23.3, a broader rule regarding sporting conduct and team communications. Though McLaren's message to Norris used coded phrasing like Plan Echo, it was deemed to be part of a broader strategy to influence the competitive landscape of Q3. Coded messages have long been a gray area in Formula One, but in this case, when used alongside abnormal driving patterns, it pushed the behavior from questionable to punishable. The message came less than 10 seconds before the first major throttle lift, strong evidence of coordination. To confirm intent, the FIA relied on throttle trace telemetry, which showed that Norris lifted the pedal over 18% more than his Q2 profile in the same section. That kind of margin cannot be attributed to brake issues, loss of grip, or sudden caution, especially with no yellow flags on track. This level of detail matters, because without a mechanical reason to slow down, the lift suggests deliberate interference. It's these kinds of trace signatures that help the FIA distinguish between a driver reacting to external factors and one executing a planned tactic. Another layer of analysis came from radio silence. After the Plan Echo message, Norris did not request clarification or question the delta. For stewards, this was a key behavioral indicator. If the instruction had been ambiguous or misinterpreted, a driver might ask for confirmation. Norris simply executed it, no questions, no hesitation. That level of compliance indicated full understanding, and therefore intent. It was not an error or miscommunication, but a team-issued command followed precisely. This sets a precedent that may reshape how teams handle qualifying in the future. With penalties now issued for coded coordination during outlaps even when no direct blocking occurs, teams will have to rethink their strategy scripts. The FIA has made it clear, qualifying is not the place for covert tactics. Drivers must maintain natural pace, even if it disadvantages their teammates. And for Oscar Piastri, the message is even clearer: those who play it straight might just find themselves on the front row when the dust settles.